Welcome in, everybody. It's the Ruler of the Heavens update show. I'm Ryan Agro Bailey. I'll be your host. And for those of you that were watching on Mixer, you already got a chance to see some of the teaser action for Olorun. For the rest of you, you have to wait until the end side of the update show. But don't worry, we got plenty of stuff to hold you over until then. Got great skins, of course, some balance changes you're going to want to pay attention to. Project Olympus stuff. We'll touch on some SMITE Blitz news as well if you guys have been keeping up with our mobile game. So make sure you tune in for that. But first, want to stop in and talk to Travis, one of the big wigs here for Titan. Oh, excuse me. Before we go to Travis, you got to hold on a second, Travis. Don't be chomping the bit too much. We got skin previews to do. We're going to start it off with Death Lotus Da-G. Looking good there. Tiger's Fury Achilles, one that was spoiled on Twitter and got a lot of love. Clockwork Chaos Discordia. Mothman AMC will be haunting my nightmares forever. Seraph Horus, my personal favorite card art of the show. Biohacker Chernobog and Biohacker Kali. You're getting a 2-for-1 on this card art. And then Plushie Jormungandr. You knew it was coming, and it's still amazing. How could we not do the plushie? And Vigilante Susano, another card art that was teased, and everyone got very excited about for good reason. He's looking sweet on that one. As I mentioned, I do have Travis standing by here with me from the Titan team. Travis, a big producer for us. Travis, you wanted to give us an update on some of the things that the community was asking for that we are working on.
Yeah, today I'm bringing good news. As a matter of fact, if I'm on the show, it's probably good news.
Okay, that's a good start then,
if it's bad news, I'll probably send like AJ or...
And as soon as we see AJ, we're like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah. But Travis, all good news.
Yeah, so I guess towards the end of last year, we decided to shift some resources to begin working on some of the more, I guess, what's the word? More extreme god concepts that we were working on. Maybe some skins, putting more time into animations that to deliver some VXGs and some really cool things. So anyway. Long story short, in order to accomplish those things, we had to shift resources away from in-a-match lobby animations and some of our color change card art. Okay. And I'm happy to say that I've been listening and paying attention, and I agree with the community. We are going to ask the team to bring those back. Starting with this release, we are going to do the in-a-match lobbies for Olorun, and all of the skins will have the in-a-match lobby treatments. And we'll be putting color change card art back into the game.
Awesome.
So it's exciting. It's something that the team is really rallying behind. It's taken a lot of work to kind of keep that high bar that we've set, but also work these back into the schedule. So it is going to take some time to catch up on the ones that we've missed. Like over the last few releases. Sure. But this release will have all the content. We'll have those treatments, and then we'll be revisiting over the next couple of releases to kind of bring the other ones back up to par. Perfect.
So bear with us for a little bit. We're kind of getting everything rolling. So those will be retroactively added. Yeah. But for now, the future releases and things like that could be a focus.
Yes, that's right. Future releases will get the treatments. It might be a little bit different than before. So one of the reasons that we decided to do it in the first place was we kind of didn't have really strong guidelines around how we were going to do those animations. Okay. So sometimes it would be like a 45-second looping animation with 6 characters, and other times it would be a single character for 5 seconds, and so the cost between those two is drastically different. So we're going to put some guidelines around it, and maybe we won't go so extreme as maybe some of the Baron with 6 gods walking through a casket.
Right.
But we can still do potentially, Arthur pulling swords out of rocks and something custom for each of the characters to bring out the personalities.
Perfect. So, all right. So make sure you guys are paying attention to those. Travis, thanks for delivering the good news for us here on the update show. I know you guys are all excited for Olorun, but we got a lot of great balance stuff coming up as well. And for that, we've got Finch and Pon standing by.
Thank you, Agro. I know you all are probably used to Hinduman being in this slot, but don't worry, we got you a bit of an upgrade today. It is absolutely going to be Finch here, but I'm not going to be going through the item and balance changes alone. I am joined by Pon. Take this here with you, Pon. Happy to have you here with me.
Yeah, it's exciting.
There's some good stuff in here today. Definitely some exciting changes. Olorun, of course, exciting at the end, but some other stuff in here, too, you definitely want to make sure that you're paying attention to. The first one that we're looking at, part of the Project Olympus, we're making some of these adjustments here. It looks like this one specifically on console, and just some nice things that kind of touch up their life a little bit for them. So console players now be able to access a unique set of text-only VGS commands in the console lobby to communicate with each other.
Yeah, so when you're last pick in your ranked lobby and you see 4 mages there, you can be like, yeah, we didn't need mages. There's a VGX for that. And so when you're in the lobby, you have access to these commands. They're all custom tailored to be like, I need this character, or we should pick this, or maybe we should ban, and then you can actually do custom text where we should ban, let's say, King Arthur. We should ban King Arthur. You can actually type that in and present it to your team. So basically, opening up communication for console players in lobbies.
Yeah, like you were saying, I think it accesses a custom message through the VGS menu in the same way that console players chat with each other in-game. So yeah, it does add some more options in there so you all can communicate a little bit better. Hopefully, that will improve some of your matches. Not the only thing, though, that we've shown a little bit of love. Here on the social side, the friends list now has a decline all button on the request section. That's pretty big, right? If you had a whole lot of friends in there, everybody adding you, now you don't have to go through and individually click them.
Yeah, you can just decline all if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, makes that much easier. Looks like there's also voice communications now supported on Nintendo Switch as well, so that's a pretty big deal too.
So they can communicate with everyone else just like everyone else has already been able to do.
All right, should be just easy enough for them. We'll move things right along here, Pon. Let me go to this second sheet. Looks like this one is about matchmaking, but specifically about crossplay here on this one. So did you want to talk about this one a little bit? Or
yeah, we can talk about it a little bit before. So we introduced crossplay, which has a lot of benefits, and the biggest one is bringing all the players together to be able to play together. But there are some things that we had to do to make sure that it functioned, and also gave control to players so that they could choose what they wanted to be doing. But with that comes different buckets that we put people into, like kind of matchmaking, and that can split pools. It can make some issues where like maybe I don't want to play with I want to just play with Xbox players. You can be potentially in a very restricted pool where matchmaking can suffer. Situation or similarly, if also you're in a low population region, you can also be in a situation where like you might have some problems with matchmaking due to the crossplay functionality and how people set their options. And so we're just simplifying it. So players will be heavily favored to be in their own pool. So like if you're an Xbox player, you'll be heavily favored to play with other Xbox players, but you do have the option to party up with people on PC. You can crossplay whenever you want. And so this is hopefully bringing the best of both worlds for crossplay and for people who want to be more on their own platform or have specific other requirements. Crossplay is there, but matchmaking hopefully will be more favored towards people who are on your similar control scheme mainly.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of go through it. Players are much more likely to match players of their own input type unless you're queuing in a crossplay party, and then parties will kind of default to whatever the majority is within that party, like keyboard and mouse or controller type.
And I use Xbox as the example there, but any crossplay-enabled platform is basically control scheme specific.
Yes, right. So you'll be more likely to be then with that input type, and if keyboard and match and gamepad are tied, then keyboard match games are the ones that it'll default to there in that case. Okay, cool. That's not the only thing, though, that we got going on. Naja is getting a little bit of love here as well. I think you were saying that there was, some gods you were going through that people thought were kind of in a little bit of a bad spot.
Yep, Jingtian, Kakolin, and now Naja. They were, Travis actually posted the thread asking for what is the buggiest gods, and we've now hit the top 3. Naja is going to be the final one on that list.
Okay, so a lot of stuff got changed from ring taunts, now bounces correctly to and from Loki decoy, so that is one scenario where it behaves correctly. Artillery sash got a lot of changes from what you're showing me here. No longer affected by DR. Naja no longer travels in the air with knocked up targets. If you quickly flick your camera with the ability, the FX and the ability itself no longer desync. And there's new FX for the AoE damage of this ability for all the skins.
Yeah, and that was one thing that wasn't very clear. Like some people would get sashed and they'd walk out and they actually wouldn't take any damage. And they're like, why didn't I take any damage? Well, it's because Naja lands and does damage around, and now that's clearly conveyed.
Right. Should be much easier for you all to know what's going on. He even got a little bit of extra stuff here, too. Flaming Spear no longer causes an extra basic attack animation to fire. Windfire Wheel should now feel more reliable in a lot of situations, too. That one got touched. Just make sure that you all are going through for more detailed lists of some of the stuff that was done to help out with Naja.
Yep, and specifically the Flaming Spear one, because just saying an extra basic attack animation would fire doesn't necessarily explain what the situation was. If you've ever been playing Naja and your basic attack and you use Flaming Spear and then suddenly your basic attacks feel desynced to what they're actually doing, like the final hit happens but you just did normal damage, and then you do a normal swing and then the final hit AoE damage happens. We fixed a specific scenario where that occurred. There are other situations in the game where you can get your auto attacks desynced. This was just one of them, but it should fix the majority of issues Naja players were having. And then we're also diving into other characters that have that kind of desync between their basic attacks and what they're actually doing, and seeing what we can do to address those cases individually.
Yeah, I think there was even something about Raw, maybe in that kind of a similar situation too. So very interesting that all that stuff's getting taken care of. But on now to item balance. Not too much here, but definitely some stuff you want to make sure you make a note of for your games at home. First thing, Odysseus' bow decreased base damage from 30 to 15. So this is just the base damage here on the item, right? Yeah.
Odysseus Bow is one of those items that like a lot of people kind of slept on for a long time, and we've buffed it over time, and now it's become a very core staple. You rush it, you get a lot of attack speed, you get the ability to trade effectively because you get that chain lightning bounce.
Right.
And the chain lightning bounce already scales based off your in-hand power, not your total physical power. So just by having some basic attack damage, it's already doing 30 plus 50% of your basic attack damage. We're just toning down the base damage so that the early game it can better compete directly against other starts the hunters might choose, so it's not the dominating start.
Right, we're talking about the bounce damage,
Yes.
right? Yeah, when it's going through, obviously that's getting changed. So obviously then charged bow also getting that change, decreased base damage from 20 to 15 to kind of keep them in line.
Yeah.
This is the tier 2 leading up to the Odysseus bow. Not the only thing though in the hunter realm that's getting some changes there. Malice has also gotten some changes, decreased cost from 3,000 to 2,650. That's actually a lot that Malice has been brought down, and increased cooldown reduction from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. I imagine this is to try and help it compete a little more with Deathbringer.
Yeah, so Malice and Deathbringer have always kind of been tied together in like cost, and like the focus of this one's more like raw crit damage versus maybe crit utility.
Right.
But just raw crit damage is too good of a stat. When you increase how much damage your critical strikes do, it's just really difficult to compete with it. And so we're kind of desyncing Malice from Deathbringer. Malice is going to just be cheaper, crit efficient option. The stats are much more reliable for like the 2650 cost that we're moving it to,
Right.
and we're also making the passive a bit better, so you can actually, because it is kind of an odd playstyle to opt into. So if you're going to opt into that kind of odd playstyle, we want you to be rewarded for it.
Yeah, but that still leaves Deathbringer sort of as that premium option up there at the 3K mark. All right, so now to move on to some items that might affect mages a little bit more than Malice would. Doom Orb has gotten a change here, decreased cost from 3,200 to 3,000. So that one should be a little bit more purchasable in your builds.
Yeah, power movement speed is a really good stat combination.
Turns out, yeah.
And so when we released it, we put it at a very high premium. Internal early balance testing, some early feedback that we got suggested that was going to be very strong. And then as it kind of played out, it just that cost is too much. We're going to make it match other things like Rada Tahuti in cost. It's not going to be above that.
Yeah, probably wouldn't have been competing quite at that price point anyway. Next up, Rod of Asclepius, Rod of Healing. This one, I think, though, just a text change, updated description to better convey this item only affects healing abilities. The functionality of the item has not changed at all.
Correct.
Yeah, pretty
Simple as that.
Pretty simple stuff there on that one. Then Gem of Isolation. So if you all are tired, I suppose, of Merlin's causing you a whole lot of pain, then you can rejoice. Decrease the movement speed slow from 25% to 20%, and decrease movement speed slow duration from 2 seconds to 1 second. So this is nice.
Yeah, Gem is just one of those items that when it's built, it can become very, very frustrating very quickly. We want to make sure that in situations where you're getting hit by like the one-off ability, it does slow you, but it gives you some more room to kind of move around and avoid other incoming abilities.
Right.
Also, the duration is very short, so if you're a character that can't rapidly keep applying this, or if you're not a character that has a damage over time effect, it's going to be a bit worse off for you.
That's right. There were some gods where maybe like one bit of it would tick on you and that would feel maybe too punishing.
Yeah.
This should help you out kind of in that case if you only get hit by a little bit. But on then to god balance this time. We're going to take a look at some of the gods. We're going to start off like we always do up at the very top of the alphabet. Achilles is the one we're going to look at here first. He's got a couple of changes. Gift of the Gods, protections per level increased from 1.5 to 2, and Shield of Achilles increased falling off damage from 70% to 85%. Now, this is an interesting pawn. I believe we just nerfed him. This is in different spots, though. Right.
So Achilles specifically had a very overwhelming presence, especially in the Pro League. He was like the go-to warrior, and that was largely driven by the amount of power that he got, especially from Radiant Glory. He just gained so much raw power that it became very difficult to deal with him. He could be a bruiser and a tank at the same time and just completely one-shot people. We toned that down. We knew it was going to hit him, but it hit him harder than we expected.
Right.
And so we want to bring some power back to him, but not in ways that either reintroduce some visual confusion, like the basic attack range was a big point of discussion. The animation didn't really convey the hit area properly, and it's not an advantage we generally give to players unless the animation does really fit that. So rather than bring back those things that don't either necessarily fit with his current animations or bring back the frustration of him being able to get a huge percentage increase of power, we're focused on improving his ability to be a tank through his passive. That's 10 extra protections at max level, which is pretty solid.
Right.
As well as Shield of Achilles, the fall off damage. This should help make up for some of the power loss that he did experience during the laning phase. He can do a bit more damage in that ranged area, get a bit more splash damage out.
Well, the solo lane feels like it's all Osiris's now. Maybe Achilles can compete a little better. Next up is Ao Kuang. He should be getting a nerf here with this one. Now, the first thing is that they fixed the text on the final swing. It's a full 1 second, just as a short pre-fire on that one. So that's just, letting you all know, clarifying that one for you. But the actual substance here, I feel like, of what's been changed here for Ao Kuang. Dragon's Call, decreased slow on ranged attack from 30% to 20%, 10% taken off. And Wild Storm has the cooldown increased from 7 seconds to 9 seconds.
Yeah, so Ao Kuang has been basically third top banned for like a year. There's two people kind of cycling above. It's been Merlin and King Arthur for a really long time. But as those characters have been cycled out, we've hit a lot of them. Kwang has just kind of sat there as the third most banned, and so we feel like it's time to address him more directly.
No, this is a pretty good one. That slow in particular could feel pretty egregious. So that one has been changed. Next up is going to be Athena, getting a little bit more upfront damage, it looks like, here on her shield wall. Increase that initial damage from 60 up to 200 to 70 to 230, as well as decrease the explosion damage from 80 to 360 to 70 to 330.
Yes, so one, she's the first of the Guardians that we're going to be addressing this patch. There's a lot of Guardians who've been underperforming.
Right.
And so there's a lot of Guardians on this list that are going to be brought up either in additional CC or a bit more just kind of like damage potential so that they're more consistent, in some cases both. And Athena's shield wall, specifically the change here, is the first initial hit hits a bit harder, but all that damage has been taken from the second hit. The second hit still hits the hardest, so you want to try and get the whole thing, but it's not so one-sided where sometimes you just got the initial hit and you didn't feel like you brought much to the fight at all, if your taunt was down or you couldn't actually secure the follow-up damage. So just a bit more reliable damage, and then the preemptive strike change is the big one.
So not an overall change on the shield wall, though, in terms of her damage output. It's a little bit more
damage is exactly the same if you hit all of it. It's just a bit more front-loaded than it was.
And then, like you said, preemptive strike is the one where the slow duration increased from 1.25 to 2.5 seconds to just 2.5 seconds at all ranks. That really changes the way I feel like you could even level when you're playing Athena.
Yeah, you can feel a bit better about maxing the taunt to get that increased duration. You can feel a bit better of going to 3 to get the increased damage. The one, if you really wanted that slow to last long so your carries could catch up and really dogpile target, you need to rank that up. And now it's just you put a point in it and it slows for that consistent amount.
Should make life a little bit easier then for our Athena players. I'm sure you all are excited out there for her, but like you said, not the only Guardian that's getting a little bit of love. Cerberus is the next one up here. He's had some changes as well. The first one is to Soul Explosion, decreased the health of Soul from 95 to 230 to 60 to 220, and increased the heal per god from 30 to 110 to 40 to 140. Also decreased the cooldown from 18 to 16 seconds. Looks like this should make it a little bit easier to actually, kill or break those ghosts when you create them.
Yeah, Cerberus, if you're playing other game modes, you might be like, why Cerberus? But if you're playing Conquest, Cerberus has been really struggling to find a good support role or a good solo role. He occasionally can flex in there, but he's been largely pushed out. This helps directly his ability to clear the minion wave, especially the souls he generates, so that he can heal more quickly. If he chooses to be aggressive against gods, he gets more of a reward for it, and then the reduced cooldown lets him engage or disengage more reliably. It's not so long of a cooldown.
Right, that's right. The Stygian Torment cooldown's also been brought down from 115 to 95 seconds to 100 seconds at all ranks there as well. So a lot shorter initially, even though it is a little bit longer on the tail end.
Yeah, especially in Conquest where you're not necessarily max level for most of the game.
Right.
When you decide to rotate, you'll have access to the
Support
ultimate more reliably. But in the very late stages of the game, it's going to be a little bit weaker, but we feel that the majority of it being quicker for most of your game is overall net buff for this ability.
I think so too. You probably won't feel it as much as you'll enjoy having a little bit extra love there in the early game. So that's Cerberus done. On to Cucullin we go. Still in the seas, at least for these gods. Barbed Spear and also Ground Slam getting a little bit of an adjustment here. Increase the scaling from 45% to 55%. So if you're willing to invest a little bit more into damage and not safety, your Cucullin will do some more damage.
Yeah, he's kind of been out of the meta for a while, and we recently did a bug pass on it, and I'm sure we'll go over this when we do the balance report in between patches.
Sure.
But he's a character that has been struggling, has been kind of pushed out of the lane, and when we did the bug fixes, he actually saw quite a big improvement, which it's great because that means those bug fixes we did tangibly made his gameplay feel more smooth, feel more fluid, and more usable. But even after those changes, he still is a little bit underperforming. We don't think he's going to necessarily be able to come into the solo lane without some additional help, and so that's what this focus on, increased scaling so that when he gets to late game, he's a bit more of a bully.
Cucullin lovers should have a pretty easy time. On to Freya we go. Looks like this one's just essentially a fix with an issue on this one on Northern Lights, where she was healing with this ability more than intended. Okay, we don't like that. Glad that's been changed.
So that's been fixed, and we're going to continue to watch Freya's performance. She's obviously a very interesting character when it comes to balance. This will affect her because people were healing more than intended, but that has been fixed.
Okay, so that one's taken care of. Less scary now. On to Habwa we go. He's the next one that we're taking a look at. Water Cannon has been decreased damage from 70 to 290 to 70 to 270, as well as Atlas of the Yellow River, decreased movement speed and slow from 30 to 50% to 25 to 45%.
Yep, so Water Cannon definitely chunks, especially early on. We want to make you invest a little bit more into magical power before it starts hitting as hard as it currently does. And then Atlas of the Yellow River is just a very potent ability.
Yes, it's good.
You lay down a carpet, you can't be slowed. You just move really fast, enemies are really slowed.
Also your team,
yeah. So 5% reduction doesn't seem like necessarily a lot, but it's also both ways. So this is an overall 10% swing in. When you water carpet someone, if you're chasing someone, they're 5% faster than they were before. You're 5% slower than they were before. So this has a little bit bigger impact than it might look.
Yeah, you won't catch me arguing agreeing with Hebo, getting a little bit of nerf, so I'm right there with you on that one, Pond. Next, on to Horus, one of our new gods, and I think he's not the only one. We might be looking at Set too, so both these new gods getting a little bit of changes here. But for Horus specifically, it's updraft that's been changed. Decrease the cooldown from 18 to 14 to 16 to 14. So this seems specifically aimed towards Horus's early game.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of discussion about Set and Horus in the community about like whether they should get buffs or not. And the big thing that we wanted to look at is after all the bug fixes that we've done after their release, we feel like we have enough data to kind of see where they are positioned, and people have had a lot of time to experiment. And we want to make targeted changes that are more like feels buffs, where Horus had a very big feeling of in the early game, the cooldown on his one was just really long.
Yeah.
And it made it so it was very difficult to trade. We don't want to increase his power over the whole game, and so it's going to scale to the same cooldown it currently does, but it's going to start off a bit lower to kind of ease that. So a buff, but a more targeted buff for feels, and Set has a very similar story going on.
That's right. We'll be getting to Set in just a moment. But before that, Jormungandr, the World Serpent, needs a little bit of adjustment. I kind of like what you all did with this one. This is a nerf to the 2 specifically. Consuming Bellow decreased the bonus base damage from 20 to 60 to 20 to 40. Hopefully this will target maybe like the mage or like even the like kind of weird hybrid build in solo.
Yeah, if you're rushing a Void Stone or you're rushing some Pen and playing mid-Yorm, the 2 damage really ramps up. And so like at level 8, level 9, when you have this fully maxed out, if you catch someone out in 3 cloud pools, they are going to take a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And so this is targeted towards addressing that, making it so that the damage feels a bit more fair, and addressing some of the builds that we've seen that have been overperforming, where like support Yorm and more solo Yorms have been, they've been doing well, but the kind of mid or the very Pen rush heavy Yorms have been overperforming.
That's right. You should still get plenty of value out of the World Serpent for the knockups and all the other stuff that he brings, all the slows. This just brings down the damage a bit. So certainly Yorm players can still have some fun. On to Khepri we go, the Bug God, getting some love here as well. Okay, so that's good. Like to see that.
Yeah.
Rising Dawn, increased damage per tick from 10 to 22 to 10 to 26, it looks like here. Solar Flare. The Root also got the cooldown decrease from 16 to 14 seconds. And then the Ultimate Scarab's Blessing had the ability text updated to state it does not revive executed targets. I didn't realize that wasn't in there. So now you all know.
Yeah. Now it's actually explicitly said.
Right.
But Khepri's another one of those characters that we looked at and we're like, as a Guardian, it was just underperforming.
Right.
Lots of changes have happened to Khepri over the whole history of Khepri, largely related to the ultimate, but also the damage on the 2. We're bringing some of that damage back, but not in the early game. We're making it so you have to invest into this before you get damage, because it is a lot of damage that you're bringing to the minion wave.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But we want to make sure that Khepri can contribute a bit more during the mid and late game. We want to make sure that Khepri has more control with the root, being able to root more often, and just hopefully that should push him into kind of be a more popular pick for support.
Let's hope so. I love seeing some Khepri out there. Some nice revives can be good. On to Set we go. You kind of talked about this a little bit earlier on, that he would also be getting some adjustments. What was sort of the idea with going in and taking a look at Set?
So Set is a very kind of like hyper carry assassin. A lot of people have really adapted to playstyle, so we don't want to change that too much. But there are some things that players have felt frustration with. Largely the passive drops very quickly. Even if you're like actively fighting and you're trying to engage targets, a very quick disengage can immediately drop it. We want to make that a bit easier to maintain if you are actively fighting. Also, this will help you be able to take it between jungle camps, as long as you're good about positioning and good about how you travel. And then Kingslayer has a very long pre-fire time where you're kind of locked out of basic attacking or using other abilities. You want to lower that significantly so that when you ult, you can immediately start making use of the ultimate benefits. You're not going to die because you're just locked into that animation.
Okay, let's go through them specifically. Relentless duration from 4 to 5 seconds. Again, the description I think said
3.
3 essentially, so it might feel like you're getting 2, but really just 1.
Just 1 second.
You're right. And then
it was a bug description.
Exactly right. And then Kingslayer decreased pre-fire time from 0.8 to 0.33. Might not sound like a lot, but you can kind of feel it when you use it. You really want to get in there and start swinging right away, so this definitely helps out. And then we go on to Amir. If you're asking me if I'm seeing this Amir, I certainly am, wherever you are out there, Patrick Schoaf. Amir, with the Frost Breath, has the cooldown reduced from 18 seconds to 16 seconds. This one seems easy enough, just some of your love.
He brings some interesting control to the battlefield, but he also doesn't necessarily have the most reliable teamfight ultimate. You have to have a lot of setup to make that like really devastating. It's more of a kind of zone control at the high level. We want to give Ymir access to more reliable, hard crowd control, make sure that he can lock down targets and that you can bring him and rely on that.
Should be a little bit more possible now, I feel like, to get those off maybe more than once in a fight. Can be a little punishing if you're right there close to him, too, so it's nice to have that one adjusted. That should do it, though, for balance. Let's go ahead and get this show back on over to Aggro. I know you guys want to hear more from him.
Finch, it was so nice to have you on the show. I wasn't insulted in any way. You and Pon seemed very happy to just talk about balance, and it was a nice, refreshing change of pace from someone else. I can't even remember their name now. Anyways, it's time for the skin section. For that, we've got a bunch of the talented artists here at Titan Forge. We've got Mark, Tyler, and Chris joining us from left to right. Guys, let's start with Death Lotus Daji. This is a skin that
Lotus.
I think people are going to really dig. It's kind of a different yet familiar aesthetic, I would say, for this one.
Right. It was one of those skins that was kind of like, why doesn't she have it already?
Yeah.
But Vivian did a really good job of taking something like that's a ninja that's usually just a black suit, black outfit, and she really elevated it here. So I'm anxious to see it in game.
Yeah, I'm big on the kind of blues, purple, pink, that whole color scheme. I'm super hyped for that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, it wouldn't be a Smite skin without a little bit of background lore. We don't have Tina here on the couch with us, but still, I'm assuming she gave us some of these, though I'm sure Isaiah also did some work on it. Now, Death Lotus Daji guards the Kitsune Shrine from the shadows, ready to strike down anyone who desecrates the sacred grounds.
Yeah.
That's kind of her shtick, I guess.
Put
you know?
some epic announcer voice on that. Though.
Right, yeah. Well, are you saying my
Guards
voice
the
was not
Kitsune
epic
Shrine.
in the first place?
We need to
Tyler?
get
Is that what
Morgan
you were
Freeman.
saying?
Bigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fine. I see how it's gonna be. There's only skin one, Tyler. We got a lot to go, man. You better pace it. But here is, of course, Death Lotus Daji. Chris, I feel like, Daji is a character that has a lot of really intricate details in her character design, all that kind of stuff. But her effects are a little bit more subtle. Though I love this little clouding underneath her during this too. Is she one of the harder ones to kind of get your effects right for?
No, I mean, in this case, it was kind of hard because I don't generally do like stylized effects, but in this case, I thought that it would really fit. So it's kind of a challenge in pushing my boundaries a little bit, but overall,
What is this?
she's pretty good to work, except for the chains.
Yes, look at
the
that
chains
shrine.
are not
That's
nice.
They're not nice.
No.
Well, they're chains. They're not supposed to be like
That's true.
super nice, I guess. That shrine is looking nice
gorgeous.
though.
Yes.
That is super cool.
Damn.
That seems like where all the detail for the Daji skins are. It's always
Just
in
goes
the,
on the pillar.
in the powwow. That's right.
Yeah, that's always a fun little project, and they go crazy on them too. So
Always.
it's really cool.
Those chains look plenty nice to me, Chris. What,
No, they're great when they work. That's the whole thing. Yeah.
right. I understand. It's a challenge for sure. But I think that this the stylized effects is just perfect. I mean,
Man, I love how these
cool.
metal rings are kind of rolling off as she moves too. She's got this really fluid movement.
Yeah.
It's really, really nice.
yeah, normally Daji, the tails and everything like that, a big part of her lore, but looks like it's I don't even know if she has it looks like she has one
She has
tail.
one,
Tails,
yeah.
yeah.
And then a bunch of kind of streamers, obviously not the right word,
Right.
but the metal dragging behind her.
It would still hurt if it hit you.
I'm not trying to get smacked with one of those. They look very heavy. Let's take a listen to the voice pack here for Death Lotus Daji.
Amazing! Good thing I just got a manicure. You impress me. Amazing! I'm the best around. Hey there, stranger. What will it be today? Do you remember these claws? Well, they remember you. I think I might have scarred all my lovers, mentally and physically.
Daddy issues.
Yeah, she should see someone. VXG as well for this skin. I got to check that out, of course. I'm
excited.
always
Ooh, I haven't seen this
about
yet.
all these.
Oh,
That is sweet.
Yeah.
No way, she gets to hop from tree to
That's
tree.
cool.
I thought she was just standing still. That is so much
That's
better.
ninja as hell.
Holy. That is
Wow.
amazing.
That's another level.
All right, well, how are we going to
Oh man,
open
the
with this,
lotus
guys?
petals kind of swirling around her and everything. Oh, I love that.
The darker skybox as
Yeah,
well, because you can't be
skybox.
jumping from tree to tree in the daytime.
No,
that's
you
just
look silly.
preposterous. It's only can be done when there's a moon out. Not a full moon, but certainly a nice crescent moon for her to be jumping around. That's incredible.
Otherwise, it's just yellow dot in the sky in the game.
Right,
So,
yeah, that's the way it's got to be. All right, Tiger's Fury Achilles next up on the list. This is one that a lot of people are super excited about. And the notes here kind of talk about the idea that, he can change from armored to unarmored, but in this case, he's a shape-shifting cat man.
Were-tiger.
Yeah.
Were-tiger.
He's
Yeah,
gone
that's a much
beast mode.
cooler word for what I just said.
He's
for
beast
It's a
sure.
shame Tina isn't here for this one. She'd have a great
Yes,
time.
she would have some words to say for sure. That shield
That's
is,
a gorgeous
cool.
shield.
is so cool.
Yeah.
I want a shield with my face on it. That's just like huge like that. That would be truly terrifying. No way anyone would be able to stand in the face of that. So when talking about when this character was first being concepted or once you got the concept or working on the character art, I mean, were you guys like, where Tiger? What's going on here?
So the thing with Achilles, right, is he has two forms. And so we wanted to pick something that would really make it impactful. We've done werewolf enough, and so has everybody else.
Sure.
There's an idea for a minotaur, but then we thought maybe an arena that could get confusing
Sure.
or something like that. So tiger. That's where we
Yeah.
landed.
tiger, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's cool. I think it's dope.
Yeah, I think you're
Turned out
absolutely
awesome.
right. You certainly nailed that one. It's just like why not? You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can make him a cool looking tiger. I'm down with that.
I know as character artists, we have a blast with these kinds of skins too. Just like there's a lot of like really cool detail work that goes into the fur. There's a lot of fun studies that go into like how the face is going to work. You know, you can't just translate dude talking to like beast kind of emoting and stuff.
Right.
So that it's a cool challenge, and it turned out really cool here. So
Absolutely. Let's take a listen to the voice pack here for Tiger's Fury Achilles.
Tonight we hunt! Attack! Defend the fire giant! You handle yourself well. I lead this pack. You can have a head start. The chase makes it more fun. Have no fear. My heel is no longer a weakness. Ooh, tummy rubs are a different story. No need to hold your applause.
Nicely done.
Real bad.
Yeah, there's got to be a cat pun in there somewhere. We'll show you the other form as well, though I don't know. I mean, he's not quite as catty in this form, but he still looks sweet. I mean, he's got longer flowing hair. I see it. Okay,
yeah.
I'm about it.
I like the idea of the body paint kind of translating to the tiger stripes
Yeah.
too. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's very, very cool. All right, next up, Clockwork Chaos Discordia. This one just looks so much fun. I mean, again, just a natural fit, it feels like, for
course,
Discordia. I imagine that you guys and the concept art team kind of felt the same way.
Yeah, steampunk is not something we've done too often. There's a few characters, but we were kind of waiting until there was that right character to do it on, and
Sure.
we saw that Discordia was definitely the right pick. So
Man, that wing detail is just
Yeah.
incredible.
yeah, this is Sven. You have to like look at the detail with a magnifying glass
Yeah.
to like see all the cool stuff
Man,
he's
the
put in there.
lighting on
But
it.
yeah,
I mean, it really does. Instead of those kind of
Like, the
apparition wings that she has in the normal skin, I
Yeah.
mean, these are that's like canvas.
Kind
I
of
mean,
stretched canvas, right?
Yeah, that
and-
is the texture of it, the lighting. That's amazing.
Yeah.
How good that looks.
Yeah, the wings and even the dress too. Like the level of detail is just another level on this thing.
So, Chris, is that part of your effects team that has to worry about making sure that it all kind of moves the way it should, or is that more the
Oh,
character
no,
side?
luckily that's not us.
I was gonna say that seems like a lot of stuff you got to
Yeah.
do, though. Certainly, you got a lot of stuff to do, anyways. That Unruly Magic looks amazing. Very, very cool with the little cogs. Of course,
That's
it's
cool.
there
Of course. Yeah.
yeah, that's dope.
in that as well. Love that.
Yeah, I know the wings are always like a huge rigging challenge,
I bet.
especially if they change quite a bit. Which for the skin they look like they did. So
It's so awesome. I love this skin already.
whoa, is it?
Yeah, that all.
Yeah,
looks
the
awesome.
all.
Instead of an apple, you got the kind of cog working for it. Absolutely amazing.
It's got this like rotating mechanism.
Nice, yeah.
Super
Very
cool.
neat. Let's take a listen to the voice pack here for Discordia.
Attack! Defend! You're brilliant! Yeah! Spectacular! I'm a genius! I won't let a baddie like you hurt my friends! Wait till you see the bombs I've designed! I love coming up with new ideas. Have you heard about the I Win button I designed? It only seems to work on talented people, though. Oh, you like my wings? I made them last night. Only took around 20 minutes. No issues. Yet.
This is gonna go perfectly with the steampunk Cirquette skin as well, which is still
Right.
one of my favorite Cirquette skins.
Squad.
Good mid-jungle combo there for you guys at home. All right, Mothman AMC. Guys, can I admit something to you? This skin scares me.
Oh,
Do you know the legend of the Mothman?
You know, I don't, but I don't think I want to know.
It's
Do you not like moths?
I don't.
Spoopy bugs?
Who does? Wait, who says yes to that question? That
Some
they
cute.
like moths?
This is some West Virginia cryptozoology here.
See, I grew up in Pittsburgh. That's too close, man. That's too close to West Virginia. I'm not messing with that. This is horrifying.
Oh,
you
his
guys.
wings look really
So
nice.
good.
Oh, look at what is that? He
That's
doesn't need
so,
that.
so
That's
cool.
terrifying.
Yeah, shout out to Kiana Ham on concept for this. This turned out so cool. Both yeah,
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
eldritch horror, for sure.
Yeah, horror more than anything else. This is kind of one of those, it's a modern legend sort of thing, so it's super cool to see it come into Smite. And I love the red and black combo. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for that.
I'm gonna be too scared. That's all I'm saying. His wings are moving because normally
you
AMC's
can
wings are a
see
little
'em.
bit smaller, right? And they don't move nearly
Right.
this much. That seems like a lot more animation work there on the wings. They're very different to his normal flight path.
Yeah, for sure. For
That looks
sure.
really nice. Wow.
Oh man, it's such a cool effect though.
Man, I'm gonna use this AMC skin because it's so cool, and I'm gonna spook myself.
It's
Scared.
my
Everything's
favorite
so
patch. I don't know, it's up there. I really, really like how this turned out.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks
That
clean.
Looks great.
Yeah.
You got your dread stinger or whatever. I don't know. It's gotta be spooky somehow. Looks absolutely incredible. Let's take a listen to the voice pack here for Mothman AMC.
Mayhem.
Yes.
Attack. Defend. I like the way you think. The nightmare never ends. I'm the dark in your heart. Feel free to scream. It's such a soothing sound. Don't struggle. It'll be over soon.
Oh, hell yeah. Yes.
Oh my
In
god.
fact, I used to be a professional moth magician. I've tried wearing clothes, but they always end up with little bite-sized holes.
Gross, man. I just imagine looking out my window at night and that's what I see. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm dead now. It's nothing I can do about it.
Well, for several people, that was the case.
No,
So-
Tyler, don't do this to me. Sarah Forrest, this one's gonna put me in a much better mood. Ever since we teased this card art a while ago, I have been so looking forward to this skin.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like
Epic.
majesty, yeah, epic. It brings all of it right away.
Yeah.
This must have been one where
Oh, damn.
those
That looks
wings.
so cool in
He's got a
engine.
big
That's
crown that he doesn't even have to put on his head because it just floats behind him.
Right.
That
Man.
is awesome.
You borrowed that from ISIS, it looks like.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, they're pretty similar.
Oh man, and the little the detail with the icon kind of floating to the surface of the crystal, oh man, there's a lot to take in with this skin.
Yeah. Again, he was one of those who was like, angel skin. And we were like, yeah, absolutely.
Duh.
Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt about that one. Seems to be like a no-brainer for him. And just like the default Horus skin, man, every time I load in with him, I'm like, man, those wings are just incredible.
That targeter is really cool just by itself.
Yeah,
Right.
seriously.
That's cool.
The blue and silver
Man,
sort of look there for him. I love the spears that come up whenever he does that that updraft,
very
which
grandiose. Yeah.
you'll be doing more often in the early game with the newest balance update. A little tie-in there. Got to get it where you can. Horus has just been so much fun to play, and I feel like that I'm going to feel even more regal as I float around the battlefield. Ooh, that symbol is awesome. What are those symbols? Are those a lore thing, or
I think
are they
those
just
are just angel runes.
okay?
Yeah.
Angel runes.
I don't
I'm down.
know that they
Yeah.
mean
Do
anything.
you speak
yeah.
Celestial?
I don't.
Yeah.
Not yet.
No, no, I really don't. I cannot speak Celestial. There's another rune coming down. Ooh, the little circle
That's cool.
kind of expanding on the ultimate as he lands.
That's really good. Nice.
That's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm still getting over just how good these wings look too.
I know.
Just the roll off and the
every
lighting,
Horus skin
everything.
forever. I'm gonna be like, man, those wings look so good.
Yeah.
But they all look good. They all do. All right, let's take a listen here to the voice pack for Seraph Horus.
Attack. Defend. You are glorious. Woohoo! Ha ha ha! Astounding. I am divinity itself. I was warned of a great evil, but before me lies only a miscreant.
Nice.
Come, I am looking for some amusement. Every time a foe falls, an angel gets its wings. When my wings aren't thrashing my enemies, I use them to throw shade.
Nicely done on that last one. I have an appreciation for that. Again, this is the Battle for Olympus reward skin, so make sure you guys are up to date on all those Battle for Olympus skins. And speaking of which, the ultimate Battle for Olympus reward, the Tier 5 for Kukulkan, Winds of Change, is coming. And there's the card art for it. My man looking clean 3 different ways. He's got 3 fits of the day, and he's looking good in every single one of them. We'll have more details on this one coming up soon, of course, but again, this is the Winds of Change Tier 5 Kukulkan skin that is your reward for completing the Battle of Olympus event. Okay, let's go to some of our other skins in this update. Biohacker Chernobog. This is one where he's right there with Kali, and I feel like I have to do the epic voice you were talking about here, Tyler.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
In a future era, an advanced genome project has allowed for the creation of the hybrid warriors Chernobog and Kali, enhancing their bodies with animal characteristics. Predatory and feral, Chernobog's animal DNA has taken over, making him a creature of the hunt.
Yes.
Don't call us, we'll call you.
Yeah. I got to do what I can. You know, I'm doing my best over here. This one, you get the 2-for-1 on the card art, but man, those wings. Oh, shoots little DNA shots as well. That's amazing.
This was one I got to work on, and I just loved the idea of like putting different animals together and combining them with sci-fi tech. Like this kind of idea just has so many opportunities and directions to go down. So hopefully it's one we can keep doing.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks amazing. I love the virus as the crystallized curses.
Yeah.
Up there.
Definitely kind of pushing our themes, you know. Like this is something I haven't seen anywhere else, and it's really exciting. I get to work on Kali, and it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is certainly very unique. I completely agree that you don't see a lot of stuff like this, but it all ties together really, really well. You know what I mean? The effects colors of the nauseating green and some purple in there.
Yeah, this came out great.
Dude, that looks sweet whenever he gets into the ultimate form. But the wings as well. I mean, such an interesting colored shift kind of as they go down.
Yeah, they have like this great little like lighting effect as they expand and contract. It's really nice.
Yeah, I was trying to combine them with a bird and like a chameleon, a bunch of different patterns that I was looking at.
That's
cool. So
absolutely, I totally get that feel. The tail there as well. He does have a VXG, so let's take a look at that one.
Dope.
Oh, he transforms, and then he runs around.
He raptor runs. What? That's great.
So this is a completely different. I mean, I know we do a lot of VXGs where it's like walk animation, that kind of stuff, but it's literally just take this floating character and make him run.
Yeah.
That's got to be a lot different, right?
Clap and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot I gave him raptor toes, and so apparently they went to town on that.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like to me.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I love that you have that moment of setup too, where my teammates gonna be like, "What's taking you so long to get out of base?" And I'm like, "I'm running. Calm down.
Let
you
me
think I'm
be a
gonna get there
dinosaur."
floating?" I don't think so. He's getting ready to go. Looks amazing. Let's take a listen to the VGS here.
Attack. Defend. Oh yes. Oh yes. Maybe I'll let you live. Perfection. I am the apex predator. Try to fight. I'm too strong. Try to run. You should be honored. I'm too fast. Now pray for the world's greatest predator. I'm too ruthless. Ever since the experiment, I've been labeled a freak of nature.
There it is.
That was rough.
Oh no! All right. Whenever I saw that it was gonna be Biohacker Chernobog and Biohacker Kali, I was like, I don't know what that means, but it sounds cool. And now I know what it means. I'm getting there now. I understand the premise.
Nice.
And it is indeed cool.
But we should also note that we got a lot of complaints about the basic attack effects for a lot of his skins being hard to see. So we've gone back and we've updated those. So they should be a little easier to see. They have a darker trail, things like that. So
that's right. Yeah, I do have a note here for Chernobog, and that's across all skins. So hopefully you guys will feel a little bit better with those. Make sure you let us know. But here is Biohacker Kali. His his companion, more elegant and self-composed than her counterpart, but just as deadly.
Yeah, the idea is where he has these kind of chameleon elements and these predator kind of elements. She has this insectoid splicing going.
Yeah, most humans don't have an extra set of arms. So that makes sense.
Right.
Dude, you're right.
So
It's
I don't know if you guys
perfect.
noticed, there's more arms on this one. I mean, she's got 4 of them.
It's perfect for this character, the whole insect thing. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, and yeah, with those animations, it just looks really, really cool.
A great counterpart to the green and purple. This orange and purple looks phenomenal.
You should note that when she jumps, watch those orbs closely. And if you do, you notice they turn to butterflies.
Fireflies.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Oh man.
Nice.
It's the little things like that.
Little things, yeah.
The little things.
With the color scheme, we want them to be seen side by side. You know, we want them to kind of tie into each other. So
Sure. Absolutely. Are those some more butterflies there on the incense as well? Looks like some purple ones. So you can combine those with your leap
Oh, that's cool.
if you want to. That looks phenomenal.
It's a really cool
Ooh, she
concept. We
like
should have
puts a
more
little
skins
diva.
like this.
What?
whoa,
That is so
things.
cool.
yo.
That's awesome.
I'm a huge sucker for any time that there's like the little words that pop up like that the Tech Uller skin, whenever he switches
Right,
stance. I'm a sucker for that skin and the samples extraction or whatever like that. I'm all about it.
Also note that when she ults, she gets butterfly wings, which I know the effects artist that worked on this, Kyle, worked very hard on. And it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks phenomenal. And you're just going to be able to chop people up with butterfly wings on, which is really a win-win
It's my dream come true, man.
for you. Not for, I was going to say for everybody, but that's just not the case. Let's listen to the voice pack here for Biohacker Kali.
Attack middle lane. Defend the fire giant. You are pretty cool. Sweet as nectar. I am splendid, aren't I? Don't fall too quickly. I need time for my experiments. Why the vial? It's actually my little lunchbox. Yum nectar. With all the weapons I want to use, I think I need to grow another appendage.
You've heard the term buzzing with excitement, but she's really taking it to the next level. All right, Plushy Jormungandr next up on the list. One that I know everyone is going to be very excited about.
Goat.
I mean, you were
Waiting
talking
for
about, Angel Horus. Duh, of course
Yeah.
that's going to be awesome. As soon as we were talking about Jormungandr, I was like, what troll skin are we going to make with this
It had
character?
to happen.
And it's it's a giant yarn sock snake, and it's so much
so
better in
cute.
game
Oh my
than I
God.
thought it was gonna be.
I actually love what's at his base. It's a bunch of minions.
Yeah, he's
Is
got
that
a
just
bunch of. He's got a
Corpse pile.
Yeah, it's a corpse pile of minions.
sack minion.
Who does this?
And that's the thing that Vivian.
Oh my gosh, the little one.
Yeah.
Scared, dude.
He's gonna be there the whole game. We
Oh,
can't help
it's
so
you, buddy.
good.
This turned out incredible. The googly eyes.
Yeah, googly
man.
eyes is great.
The yarn texture on his skin as well. Just, I mean,
Yeah.
wow.
It's next level.
Yeah, it reads really, really well in game.
Why does he have a pile of corpses with him everywhere he goes? There's got to be somewhere else to put
Why
them.
not?
Listen, Aggro, if you could do that, wouldn't you?
I mean, I guess, but the size difference just wouldn't work for me. I guess you're right. Maybe that if I were as giant as you are, maybe I would. The bellow with a nice little rainbow.
Yeah, that rainbow's awesome.
Shout out to Haley on the character team for just all the work she put into the yarn, like having that weave in and out, and man, the details are so good.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that rainbow. That's fun.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy except for you, because now you're dead, probably.
Uh-oh.
There it is.
Uh-oh.
Looks so good.
Yes.
You can't even be scared anymore. Like, normally
No.
Yorm kind of spooks me a bit as he's flying across the screen. This, I'm just like, oh, he's coming to hug me. Wait, did you see the googly eyes?
googly
They, like,
eyes.
freak out
Wild.
as he's
Yeah.
going.
Oh, man.
That's amazing.
That's so great.
That is absolutely incredible. Now, I do have a note here that we should show the clap emote. So I want to do
Oh, of
that if
course.
we can. Now, his normal clap emote, he spits out a minion and it claps for us, but that's a normal looking minion. He's got all these by his feet. Can he use one of those? Is my question. No, he's got another one.
Oh no!
And this time it's with Yarn. He's so happy.
Wow.
He must have like some cool couches in there. Oh, he cannonballs. That's amazing. It must be a nice setup in there. I mean, cheap rent. That guy is way too happy to just be getting digested.
It's nice and like fuzzy in there. You know, it's a nice little home.
That's awesome. I love it. All right, let's listen to the voice pack for plushie Jormungandr.
Attack left blade.
Oh, you hate to see it.
Yeah.
You really do.
That's not
Curses. All right, good attempt, Pawn. Okay, we got one more. Vigilante Susano. Is this why we have Hindu Man around to keep Pawn in line? I was saying maybe if Hindu would have been there, that might have been that voice pack might have been there. Vigilante Susano though, Susano one of my personal favorite characters, and I love this look. Like it's just outright cool. Like that's cool.
Oh man, that mask is so cool.
The mask, the sword. He's parkouring, which everyone knows is super cool.
Of course.
He's got extra swords just in case.
Yes, the squat.
Looks amazing. Well, so this is a part of a new theme that we're going for. We got a lot of great input from the Olympians on a streetwear inspired look. What, as a character artist, Mark, what is that kind of like, or concept artist, I should say? When you hear streetwear god, like what are you really going for?
We kind of experiment a little bit with the Xbalanque that came out a while ago, and we like that, so we're like, it would really fit Susano. And then this is one that our art director, Ben, actually just went to town on and just concepted himself and modeled it himself, so...
Those effects are the blue
awesome.
and black. The Nemesis has a skin that has blue and black effects that I really like. This one, they're very similar. And yeah, Tyler, if you have any thoughts as well on the streetwear god, how you get there.
I'm big on the like Tokyo Harajuku fashion stuff, and this kind of strikes at that note. And they're kind of about it's like fitted baggy clothing, and it's really, really cool how it translated here.
Without a doubt, really, really sweet. Now he also has a unique new VXG. So these VXGs will leave tags on the ground. He's going to tag it because that's what the cool kids do, I suppose. And these stay on the map.
Oh, nice.
For other people to look at. You can have up to 5 at any time, and they will live for the entire game. So, Pon, if you could do just like run me through a scenario here. Let's say I just invaded your speed buff, and I'm going to tag it for you. Just go ahead and head on over there because this is where my tag is going to be. I'm going to steal your back harpies, tag them. I'm gonna steal your blue buff, tag it. I'm gonna secure a gold fury, I'm tagging that. Like that's what I'm all about. And it's going to tilt me off the planet if anyone does it to me, but it's okay and funny if I do it.
Oh yeah, of course.
Let's make sure that we're all on the same page here. If you think I will not stand here, wait to get out of combat, and then tag the ground in order to really send a message, then you don't know me very well. Yeah, perfect.
Love it.
Absolutely perfect work there,
The
Pon.
disrespect.
Absolutely. Let's take a listen to the voice pack here for Vigilante Susano.
Attack. Defend. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Oh.
You're doing work. I'm pretty cool. Oh, so you think you're a hotshot, huh? Come on, man. Have some respect for others. Why did the hipster burn his tongue on coffee?
Uh-oh.
Because he drank it before it was cool. People say
That's
I'm
pretty
so
good.
edgy, but then I realized I'm the edgy one.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I'm all about this skin.
Yeah.
Super excited about it. Those are the skins for this update show. Guys, thank you so much for joining me and talking about them. As I mentioned, if you haven't heard, we've been doing this game called SMITE Blitz. It's an awesome new mobile game. We just went through the technical alpha earlier this year, and Phase 2 is starting today, but there's a lot of updates and things like that. So Hi-Res Log participated in a video for us to give us some of those updates. Let's hear them.
What's up, gods and goddesses? Hi-Res Log here with an update on SMITE Blitz, the brand new mobile game set in the SMITE universe. We've been blown away by how many of you participated in our technical alpha test on iOS and Android, and we've been hard at work making updates to the game based on your feedback. Here's some of the changes and fixes that we'll be making in our second technical alpha test. UI improvements for the game, including shortcuts for ability and equipment upgrading. We've updated the tutorials based on player feedback. We reworked the team formation buff system. Players can now activate buffs to their team by upgrading and using specific team compositions. And last, and certainly not least, we've improved the server and client stability. This was a big priority for us over the last month, and we're committed to solving all of the major technical issues that were discovered in the first phase. Again, thanks to everyone that sent in feedback from our previous technical alpha test. Our second test starts on June 12th, and we can't wait to have you playing with us again. Keep your eyes on Twitter and Facebook for ongoing updates throughout the test. If you're already signed up for the first phase of testing, you should automatically see an update come through when the second phase starts. If you're a new player, head over to playsmiteblitz.com and sign up via the Android or iOS buttons. Thanks for checking out Smite Blitz, and we'll see you on the battleground.
Wow, this is really cool patch notes, huh? Smite Blitz, Olorun's going to be going on later on today, and we've got some cool community news for you as well. My name is Finch, and to talk with me a little bit about it, I have Titan Isaiah right here with me. So let's just get right into it, Isaiah. I'm sure you're doing well. We don't have to ask. What was the first thing going on? There was a community skin winner.
Yeah,
Talk to me
so
about
earlier this year, we ran a community skin contest. We had tons and tons of great artists submit their concepts, and I'm happy to announce the winner of the community skin contest for this year is Kitsune Artio by Fiona Art. A really, really awesome concept. So look forward to this Japanese-inspired Kitsune Artio skin coming soon.
She's going to be turning into that?
Exactly,
What?
right? It's going to be awesome.
Isaiah, I'm very excited now all of a
Right?
sudden.
Yeah.
And the human form is very cool too. I don't want to undersell that. Well, great job then. I think this was a well-earned victory
Most
for them on
definitely,
this one.
yeah. The community really loved that concept.
The only slight downside is that more RDO in my game will mean that I'm rooted and stunned and crippled a lot more often, but I think I can deal with it because that was a very good boy I just saw just now, so I'm very excited. Yeah. That's good news. That's coming our way. That's not the only thing also. It looks like the Odyssey Tier 5 has finally come to an end.
Yeah,
Talk to me about that,
I'm
Isaiah.
happy to announce the winner of this year's contest. So if you don't know, we started earlier this year. We had a 16-god bracket that went through. The community voted on the grand finals matchup. Ended up being Baron Samdi versus Emir. And I am super excited to announce that the winner of this year's Odyssey Tier 5 skin is Symbiote Hunter Baron Samdi.
Yeah, no surprise at all. I agree with Aggro. Round of applause for everybody. Chat, given the choices that we had between Amir and Baron Samdi, this was the correct pick. Amir has roughly 1.2 million skins, so it's a good idea that Baron
Man,
Samdi...
you sat there and counted all of those?
I counted every last one of them. You had to come get me earlier to remind me I had this segment. I used that extra time to count all the Amir skins we already have. Baron Samdi, though, getting this, and that is very exciting. I'm looking forward to that.
Exactly. So, yeah, I know the community. I heard all those Baron fans on social media. They're super excited. But I've got one more thing to let you guys know about. This is your last chance to grab the Twitch Prime Hades bundle, Prince of Darkness Hades. You get that bundle and all of the other Twitch Prime bundles that we've gone through this year. So the last day to claim that is on June 27th. So be sure, get your Twitch Prime subscription, claim that free loot so you can get it in game.
Isaiah's really looking out for y'all today, but not letting y'all miss out on the free stuff there too. Bringing us in the cool Baron Samdi skin. That's a lot of good stuff. You know what else Isaiah is doing? He's leading us right into
That's
what
very,
I know you all have been waiting for.
Yeah, so
yeah.
we are super excited to introduce to you guys the newest king of Olympus, Olorun.
Long have I been content to simply bear witness. I am done watching. You do not know me, but you will. I am Olorun, and I am your king.
So sick. So cool. Olorun, the newest god coming to Smite, and of course, we've got to have a great team here to talk about bringing him in. We've got Clumsy, we've got Vivian, we've got Josh. Clumsy, of course, a designer for Smite. Vivian, a concept artist, and Josh from the programming side. So, Clumsy, we'll start with you. As the guy kind of charged with bringing Olorun to Smite, why Olorun, first of all? Give us some background on him.
Man, I'm just super excited. Just want to get that out of the way. I think that cinematic is awesome and sick.
Yeah.
Olorun, who is he? Well, he's the head of the Yoruba pantheon. So, we were thinking for a while what kind of other pantheons we want to bring to Smite, and it was tossed around. There's many different ones in Africa that we could bring. I think Yoruba and Olorun himself, who is the head of the pantheon, was really our clear-cut choice. In fact, technically, Olorun is not just a one god himself. He's a tripartite god. Okay. So he also is taken in the forms of Oludamare, who is the creator god, or is the created part of him, and Alofi, who is the conduit between the heavens and the earth. And we thought that Olorun would be our take inside Smite for the Yoruba Pantheon. The first one, which I think we'll do a good job of.
Yeah, absolutely. He looks absolutely incredible. Vivian, for your side as a concept artist, you're kind of tasked with, hey, we want to put Olorun in Smite. What's he going to look like? What was that process like for you?
So in actual lore, there's not a specific image of him like a lot of the gods that you see like in Greek pantheon or Chinese pantheon. So what we had to do is basically we really want to bring not only the Smite version of what this god is, his personality, but also showcase the actual culture behind the pantheon. So we focused a lot on the actual clothing of West Africa regions that actually practice the religion and transport that into our god. So the clothing we based it on is called agbada, which is actually a 4-part clothing that includes a really large flowing robe, a tunic, like a long shirt, pants, and a hat. And we took that and split up the robe into several pieces of cape as well as tabards so that he's really flowy, really airy, gives you that sky god feel. And also we really wanted to focus on the textile of the region, so we included a lot of embroidery in his clothing. So every piece of his clothing is covered with tiny detail.
Right.
That is something I think is new for our gods.
He looks absolutely incredible. Clumsy, we've been doing a lot more about Smite and kind of the lore behind the game. There's already so much lore caked in with the characters, but he's now taking the place, Olorun, as the king of all of the gods.
He's the king of Olympus now, right? There was a throne that was empty, and he was watching, through all the different events that was happening, Ragnarok, the Divine Uprising, Hera's Odyssey, now recently with Horus and Set, and he saw these warring gods. He saw this time of turmoil, not just between the mortals, but the immortals as well. And he's usually, Olorun is he's a stoic and he's a just god. But with all this frustration that's happening down in the mortal worlds, an immortal world, it was time, and there was a vacancy, and he's, as you saw in the cinematic, he's taking his place on the throne as the King of Kings.
You know me, I'm a big Zeus stan, but someone's got to replace him. Olorun's a pretty good start. I got to say, I love the way he looks. Should be able to get in game here pretty soon and take a look at what he looks like in the game itself. But what is kind of his overall theming here? I mean, Vivian, you mentioned Sky God. Mm-hmm. What can we expect from Olorun in the gameplay that can kind of reflect that, Clumsy?
Well, Olorun is, as I think we've spoiled a little bit earlier in the Closer Look blog, he is a mage ADC. So he is definitely very much a mage. He builds magical items, but we designed him first and foremost as a hunter in mind. And that's not just, the way he attacks, but also his abilities as well. You're going to see, as we go through the kit, that he's designed as a hunter. You're going to feel and play as a hunter even though you are technically a mage. Okay, so lots of auto attacks. Keep that in mind as you're kind of watching the kit. But of course, as a mage, he'll have some pretty impactful abilities as well. Yeah, exactly. And if you read the spoiler blog, then you should know that the alt is going to do some stuff. But we will get there. So yeah, I mean, what we've been doing recently is we just let Pon do his thing. Oh yeah, we go crazy on a couple of abilities and let Pon loose, huh?
Kick it off.
Go for it.
Let's see what he got.
Ooh.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay. I'm seeing it now. And okay. We got some extra.
We got a little bit of everything in there.
So there's a lot going on. Let's slow it down and kind of talk to you guys about it first. Now, let's start with the passive. Let's start with the basic attacks first. Right. Yeah. I love you want to talk about flowing and sky animation. My dude is just kind of casually killing you with his auto attacks.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of time and preparation built into his auto attacks. As you can see there, he's actually got we wanted to build up the fact that he's a tripartite god, not just in his lore, obviously, but in the rest of his kit. So what you have there is you have his other forms of himself in animations, in meshes, coming out with every single basic attack. That was not an easy task to do, and we didn't do it lightly, but I think it came out pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we also have the Morrigan. That's kind of another one of our gods. That's a multi-aspect, and hers are brought in.
Exactly. She's got her sisters.
So this one, kind of with every single basic attack, you can see those extra forms of Olorun. So let's go into the passive from here.
The passive's got a couple things going on.
The main thing. Let's start with what. Right there.
What you're seeing and hearing there actually is, as we've spoiled as well, he's a mage hunter and he can crit. He does, so that doesn't mean he buys physical items, right? As you can see right there on the screen, he's got magical items built, and his passive is Touch of Fate. Upon reaching 150 magical power from items, although there's some circumstances where that might change, Olorun gains immediately 15% critical hit chance, and a further 1% for every 10 magical power that he buys from items. Now, do note, because there's actually a lot of people speculating online, that his critical hits only hit for an extra 50%, so not the normal 100% that physical crits usually would hit for.
Okay, so we just saw Pon go back, buy some items. He was at 25% on his meter, now 47%.
So yeah, exactly. You can see that on the meter. So he's got that 470 magical power. But again, it's from items, although that means Fafnir buff and there's other abilities out there that might increase your magical power. This won't increase your critical hit chance, but there's other things in the game sometimes that give you magical power from items. I believe red buff will actually give you a little boost through your magical power for items, and that'll help him out. Bancroft as well is actually pretty interesting, because if you lose health, you're actually gaining more magical power, giving him more crit chance.
Okay, so a good item on him for sure, the Bancroft's talent. 47, it gives him 5%. Now, don't take any of my red buffs when I'm playing Olorun.
Those are his.
They get even better on him.
And I do believe we also cap out his crit chance at his end level.
Exactly. Around 70%, I believe, is his maximum crit chance, so you can't ever get to 100.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not crit at that point, just extra damage.
Right. Yeah, not exactly crit in that instance. Let's start with the 1 then. Focused Light. So he channels an orb in front of him. Seems to grow as it goes along.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this ability.
We wanted to do this kind of tech for a little while, and we thought this would be an awesome place to put it. So he actually has 2 seconds once he starts using this ability to refire, or you can hold up for the full 2 seconds, and it'll go off automatically. Once you've started casting this ability, you are not stopping it. You cannot right-click or cancel on your controller to stop this ability. It is going to fire. You just have to refire it. Although enemies can crowd control you to stop you from casting it, and because you're not getting any benefit, you will be able to refire it again after that.
Okay, so you can get interrupted, but it won't go on cooldown because you're not getting any additional benefit.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
This targeter is pretty unique, though. I mean, is the hitbox size changing as it's charging?
No, so there's 2 components. There's the one that grows outwards, and that's going to show you the range that the projectile will travel to. But the horizontal component, that's just kind of give you an element of the timing, how long you have left until it's going to automatically fire. Yeah.
Great, okay, and this stops on first God hit, but it pierces minions?
Exactly, it stops on first God hit, pierces through minions, and as you can see, I think a few times there, it can also critically hit based off of his passive.
Yeah, that's kind of the one that I think people are going to get excited about. A crit on this ability that it can be very, very long range. Does it gain damage as you charge it, or does it always have the same
it'll
damage?
Always be the same amount of damage, obviously going up per rank of your level, but it's not per travel.
Okay. Now, it also interacts with his 2, but we'll get there after we go over the 2 itself. Go ahead.
Maybe we'll just talk a little bit about like the visuals for that, if you guys had any thoughts.
Our FX artist Ron did an amazing job with like just the orb projectile, because like if you look at it closely, it's like a legitimate sun with like solar flares coming off it and everything.
Yeah, especially when there's already an ability in Kepri's 2, Rising Dawn, that is kind of supposed to be a rolling sun. It's you have to differentiate those.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And he is the creator of, and he is the heavenly god. We wanted to impart the solar orb a few times in different places in his kit.
Yep.
Looks awesome there, the rolling sun on the 1. Okay, number 2, Overflowing Divinity. So this is an attack speed stim.
Yeah, it's an attack speed stim with a couple of other components. So, as you can see there, he empowers his bracers, and he's got this kind of FX UI element above him. So, the first part of this is he just gains attack speed, a flat amount of attack speed. Remember, he's an ability hunter, and we felt that was pretty necessary for his kit. But the other thing that you can do there is, if you can see, his ability icon actually swaps. Now, the more enemies you hit successfully while you have the stim active, you're actually going to fuel that passive gauge meter there. So, you're going to be gaining ammo while the stim is active. And then at any point during the stim, or for 4 seconds afterwards, you can actually recast this ability to fire all of those projectiles that you've gathered in the sun orb.
So cool. It's just such a sweet ability to use. I did get a chance to playtest Olorun not too long ago, and this was the ability where I was like, man, I am having so much fun messing around with this.
Yeah.
Now, the easiest way to tell, just for a tip for you guys, is look at the buff bar right above your health, right above your HP bar. You'll see where you're getting how much longer you have the attack speed stim for, and then how much longer you can fire the suns for. But you don't have to fire the suns every time.
No, that's right. You can hold on, a couple more seconds until your cooldown's back up, or a couple minutes if you want to really hold those 20 ammo charges. Also, as Pon's about to show, there's a special interaction. If you have your 2 active and you fire through minions, or even at gods, you'll be able to stack up your your ammo count as well.
Okay, so a nice little combo there. Pop the 2, charge the 1, shoot it through the wave, and then sunbeam
fire out
your,
that overflowing divinity.
Right.
It's also cool to note that for when you activate your stim, that's when your cooldown for this ability starts. So if you fire your sun early, it still has the same amount of cooldown time as if you lay it off late.
Okay, that's definitely good to know. You don't have to worry about any firing it to mess with your cooldown or anything.
And a couple really quick last things as well. As you can see, the more ammo you have, the more the area of effect actually starts to randomize.
Yeah.
So you have a couple of shots in the middle, and then it starts moving out in different directions, and the rate of fire actually increases as well the more ammo you have. So there's a couple of different things there that are going to make this ability feel more like, explosive sun flares coming out from that sun above you. It shouldn't affect the balance of the ability too much, because the first hit is going to do the maximum amount of damage, and then every hit on the same target after that will actually do reduced damage to a very, very low minimum.
Okay, so you can't just get one shot basically if you're standing in it forever.
Oh, I mean, if you take all 20 shots, you're going to take a good amount of damage regardless.
Maybe I spoke a bit too soon on that one, but and the other thing is that you can store your ammo basically. You don't have to shoot the suns every time.
You don't have to shoot it immediately.
You can just hold on to those basically.
Get ready for a team fight, have 20 shots because that's the maximum allowed, and wait sun to unload that sun.
And is that sun that you can see above Olorun that's growing as well? Is that can only he see that, or can enemies see that?
No,
as
enemies
well?
and allies will be able to see that as well. It's their way of knowing how many charges he kind of has ready at any time.
Okay, perfect. All right, the third ability, Consecration. This is really his only form of self-peel or anything like that.
This, takes place of what might be the movement ability slot. And it is an AoE around Olorun, where he expends the light within himself, because he is the divine celestial light, to knock back enemies and slow them, as well as to heal yourself and allies. So you can see there, he's taking a little bit of damage. It's a pretty slow, fair heal, and if you hit enemies, it's going to knock back and slow them. There's also an additional component, because Olorun, he's not just this god that dishes out the damage. He wants to be able to heal allies and gain something from it as well. That's kind of part of who he is. So every time you heal an ally, you gain an ally god. You actually gain a protections buff for every ally healed, and only you are getting that.
So you don't give it your whole team a prop buff.
No,
but he himself
you're getting it
gets
yourself, and it's
so
a pretty
having
short range.
A guardian right next to you trying to peel for you. You use the 3, you knock back the opposition.
Exactly.
Heal yourself,
Give
heal your
yourself both
ally,
protections.
and get yourself some protections as well. Certainly fitting for the lore as well. Breathing life into humanity is a big part of his lore, so kind of fits in with that pretty nicely, of course, on the 3. And then it combos pretty nicely when we get to the ult.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Oh boy.
Wow, this one.
Yeah.
Well, let's fire it off again quickly. This is Sanctified Field.
First of all, that animation there. Is those the other
right,
two
exactly.
parts?
That's his 2 parts. We wanted to play that up once more. That's Oludamare and Olofi coming on the sides, creating the Sanctified Field with him. And this area, as we've said many times, this is actually a massive area of time dilation. And what that means is that Olorun himself will be moving faster. He's going to be attacking faster. He's going to be casting faster. While all the enemies inside of this field will be moving slower. Projectiles will be going slower. Deployables will be going slower. They're going to be animating slower and casting slower. It's pretty crazy. But remember, allies are actually unaffected, although they'll be able to hit, of course, the enemies that are slowed down.
Sure, so it's not boosting your whole team, it's just boosting himself, but it's slowing the entire enemy team.
Yeah, we want you to feel like Keanu inside this thing,
Very nice. So take a look at the movement speed and attack speed stats at the bottom left of the screen. He's not getting more attack speed. He's not getting more movement speed.
He's just gaining time inside this area, basically.
Yeah, no, like in this ability, like we aren't modifying move speed or anything like that. Is straight up, you are just going faster because time is moving faster.
And it looked, so you can use basically every one of your abilities synergizes beautifully.
Exactly. We designed his abilities in mind with this time dilation effect. So previously Focus Light, if you fired that ability, it pretty goes a set range. Now if you fire your Focus Light inside the time dilation field,
it goes a little bit farther.
Yeah, give that a try and show off the range of Focus Light inside of Sanctified Field. Yeah, that goes
dude, that is so
it
far.
Goes quite a ways.
Now remember, it doesn't pierce walls, so
it doesn't go through walls.
Sniped across
it's not
the
going
map.
to gain damage, but it does gain some range.
I'll say some insane range, and that's where that horizontal targeter as well really helps
that out. Exactly.
So you can tell when that's going to detonate.
Other things are your overflowing divinity. Obviously, you're going to be stacking it even faster because your attacks and projectiles are going faster. And the sun itself, well, it's going to be shooting out those projectiles even faster in Sanctified Field.
if you got 20 projectiles and you use like Olorun inside that field, that thing fires so fast.
And right there, you can see concentration is going to be knocking up those enemies, making them even slower as they raise up into the air. And he's actually going to get a little bit more healing as well, because that effect on him is going to be amplified too.
Yeah, it's also
his heals tick fast.
Yeah, just a little bit, because he's getting 30% increased time dilation while enemies are being slowed by 40%.
So it's worth noting that for his abilities like his 1 and his 2, those like trigger times that you have, those don't get affected by time dilation. Olorun has special time dilation rules for his kit that allows so that those buffs won't come off until they are ready to come off.
And his cooldowns don't come back faster in that area.
Yeah, cooldowns are unaffected.
Cooldowns are unaffected for all gods.
Now on the other side, you can become CC immune and ignore this. You saw Bellona Eagles rally at normal speed. That's not affected. You can Purification Beads this.
Yeah, there's actually going to be a lot of interesting animation interactions with this. For example, Aegis for enemies, it'll actually last a little bit longer.
Oh, right.
While
everything they do is long.
Beads and Aegis for the Olorun himself will actually be a little bit quicker as well.
Yeah, so
there's going to be some very interesting things
there
that
are
people will be able
positives
to
and
do.
downsides to knowing when to use your time dilation for sure.
You run out of your Aegis faster. Again, only 30%, but you know that's 30% less time you have that immunity.
So one thing we definitely wanted to harp on with Sanctified Fields is this ability was extremely ambitious. In fact, at SMITE, I think we wanted to do some version of time dilation for literally years. We wanted to bring it back to you on some other kits, and this was our attempt at it. I think we've done a really good job. And what that means, because of how outrageously crazy this ability is that we expect there to be some odd interactions, and we have oh my god, the list that we had to go through for this, I think Josh has nightmares.
Before this, I was terrified by how many things I had to fix.
But we did a lot of different things to get ready for this release. And of course, you know, Ranked is one full patch away, and we'll have them out there on PTS. And we're going to be doing whatever we can to make sure that whatever you guys send to us as bugs, we're going to be knocking them out. And we are well aware that there's going to be some interesting interactions. Ones that maybe are not intended from the gameplay side of things. But just let us know, and we'll have some known issues already out there on the patch notes. And, you know, we'll work on this together.
I definitely got to give a shout out to gameplay lead Nick, who'd helped set up a lot of the framework and a lot of the stuff you see for getting time dilation even out of the gate working.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was definitely like a team effort to get this ability up and running. I think it's probably easily the most ambitious thing we've done in SMITE since the Mulligan.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, I can definitely see the comparison.
So make sure to
there.
play that PTS and hit us up.
Man,
all your stuff.
I cannot express to you guys how many more applications of this there are than what you're thinking right now in chat. I mean, I know that when we were playing, you know, on her, I think Finch got like taunted, but he stays in that taunt animation longer, so I got to kill him off a rank 1 taunt pretty easily. We were playing against a Vulcan. You'd see a Vulcan ult coming in, you drop the time dilation field, and you get so much more time to walk out of that projectile range.
We've also noticed some extremely potent counter play to this ability already, I believe just yesterday. For example, anything where you're CC immune. So Kuzimbo's ultimate, really, really strong, because you're going to be spinning and still doing your things just as normal, and you're actually knocking Olorun outside of this area, so he can't benefit from it at all.
Sure. Yeah, gods that have those CC immune ultimates and things like that. Also gods that can get on top of him pretty easily.
Right. He doesn't have a movement ability. He's really got to use that one knockup. This Sanctified Field actually has a very long cooldown as well. It goes from 140 seconds, scaling down to 100, which is one of the longest ones.
Yeah,
exactly.
At least at rank 5. Yeah, I know Jormungandr I was playing against gave me a lot of problems because I can't knock him back. You know, he's staying on you. Basically, no matter what you do.
One of my favorites for sure is just going as Fenrir, ulting into it, grabbing the Olorun while he thinks he's safe, and just pulling him right out of it.
Right.
Yeah, pull him out of the sanctification field. This is... I mean, when you guys were talking about doing time dilation a while ago, I was like, there is no way anything like that can ever like work. It's just it's crazy, but it's working, and it looks awesome. Super excited for you guys to get your hands on it. Again, get on the PTS. There's going to be a lot of interactions that we want to make sure we can only you know test so much internally.
It's also worth mentioning that his deployable like field is a custom. It's a new type of like tech we're using for determining collisions and stuff. So this means even if you're untargetable, it's gonna know. It's gonna know if you're a projectile. It's gonna know if it's your pawn. So you'll see towers gain time dilated. You might even see the fire giant being gain time dilated. I know at one point.
Wait, you mean my teammates might be able to actually tank a fire giant properly because they'll be slow?
I
mean,
it might
help them.
Bit, you know?
Okay.
I know at one point, Wheelie Alien, his balance, we had it when we were testing just like how far we could push time dilation.
Look at
I
that, look
know
how long you have to
Pawn
move out
was
of
able
that.
to just solo the fire giant on his own at one point.
Yeah, deployable time there was a little bit longer.
It was way longer.
But
yeah,
you
so
have
it
some
looks
more
like
time.
he himself isn't time dilated, but all of his effects that are coming in
Yep.
are.
Yeah, so you'll see like things like August, who we treat as like being CC immune, he won't be affected by time dilation.
Okay, so there is going to be some counterplay to it, but
Yep.
this is going to do some nonsense in your games, no doubt about it. All right, we also have, we got to listen to the voice pack here, of course, for Olorun.
Gotta get rid of that tittle.
Attack! Defend! You are truly a shining star. I am struck with awe. Wow. I need no praise. Wow. Wow. Look inward and see each one of your flaws, as numerous as the stars in the sky. There can be no salvation for you, just finality. The light is Olorun. Please do not claim that the sky is falling. I take that very seriously.
I love it, man. He really does just exude that, I'm the best sort of confidence, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. We also do have the recolor card art, which Vivian, I know you were excited about, as am I. I mean, this recolor card art is just incredible.
Dude, this card art looks amazing.
Wow, indeed.
Yeah, so when we did the recolor, I was thinking, what is different than his base? Because his base is already pretty similar to a lot of mastery color schemes we already have. So I was thinking we could go with the night sky or the stormy sky, which is completely opposite than like a clear day, the daytime. So what we did is we turned all the metals silver, which is kind of like the moonlight, and then all the fabric elements we turned it into a darker shade of like blue, purple, and all the embroideries are like the night sky clouds. Sometimes you get that misty cloud in front of the moon, things like that. So yeah, that's pretty much how we came to the recolor.
It's gorgeous. It makes so much sense, and it looks amazing. Also have his mastery skin card art for you guys to take a look. Yeah, I just love it. He's so cool looking. I love that the skin markings are also that blue color this time around. It really fits really nicely. That just looks incredible. His whole model just looks phenomenal. I love it. I'm super excited to get my hands on him. You guys don't have to wait very long. PTS should be coming up pretty soon. Make sure you stay tuned to all of our channels for that. Oh, that legendary is so tight.
I love
the legendary skin
one.
always looks just super phenomenal.
Black and gold.
Yeah,
exactly right.
Always. That's what I'm a fan of the black and gold for sure. Guys, hope you enjoyed the Olorun show. Again, PTS coming up soon. Clumsy, Vivian, Josh, thank you guys very much for joining us to talk about the newest god.
Super excited.
Coming to Smite. Again, Olorun, PTS, play it, give us your feedback, let us know the interactions you see with the time dilation. You're going to have a lot of fun with that. Now, that it does do it for our update show, but we have Esports Weekly coming up right after this, so stick around. We're going to go to a quick break and get ready for it. 4:30 is when Esports Weekly is going to start. Got a lot of great information. Midseason Invitational's coming up for the Smite Pro League, so make sure you're staying tuned for that. But for now, take a break. See you soon. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.